Let's consider this physics question. This is JAMB 1978 question 2. The question is on frictional force. So particularly is asking us the properties of frictional force. So if you know about the definition of friction, and also if you know the laws of friction and the characteristics of friction, you'll be able to solve this question. So the question says the frictional force between two bodies. So before I talk about the options and choose the correct answer, let me define frictional force. So you will agree with me that if not for friction, there is a type of force that is making it easy for us to walk without falling down. So if not for that force that is gripping our leg with the ground, we will be falling down. That force is known as friction. You will observe that if you apply brake in a car, the car will stop. If you apply brake to a car, the car will stop. It is due to friction. Friction is the reason why this board that I hang here is able to stand, to stay there. Friction is the reason why you can hit a nail on the wall and the nail will remain there. So friction is a force that tends to oppose the motion of another, to oppose the motion of a body when two surfaces are in contact. If you place one surface upon another surface, this is my hand, my right palm, place it upon the left palm and try to move it. You see that the motion is not free. It's because there is between the two surfaces, this palm and this palm, there is a type of force called frictional force that is dragging the motion, that is not letting it easy for me to move. So that's what we call friction. And this force does not happen until there is two surfaces in contact, unless if we have two surfaces in contact. So as we can see now, that force is called frictional force. That's just the definition. If you want to define it in a better way, you say that friction is a force that opposes relative motion. It's a force that opposes relative motion when two surfaces are in contact. So now from there, we have like 5 laws of friction. The first one says friction opposes motion. Let's check if we have an option among these 5 options, the one that talk about opposition of motion. So if you look at B says frictional force acts so as to oppose the motion. So it means this is correct. See, this is correct. So this is not the answer. So you can still check other ones. So this cannot be the answer. So check other ones. So this is correct for friction. Let's check. Another law of friction is that frictional force is directly proportional to the normal reaction. So if I draw, let's say I put a box on top of a table surface, and I try to move the box forward. So you know that frictional force will be acting backward. If you are pushing the box forward, friction will be acting downward. And then the weight of this body will be acting downward. And then the normal reaction will be acting upward. So what do we mean by normal reaction? The weight of this body is acting downward. You will see that the ground will also be trying to push it up. That upward push is known as the reaction. So frictional force is directly proportional to reaction. Let's see whether that one is also there in the option. Depends on the normal reaction between the two surfaces. This is another thing that is correct. Now, this is another one that is correct. Let's see if there is the third law of friction says that friction is independent of the area of the body in contact. So what are we saying? You can see that this box, the surface of the box will be rectangular, and the surface of the ground can also be rectangular. So no matter what, friction will still take place because friction does not depend on the area of the surface in contact. Even if this one is triangular and this one is rectangular, some friction will still take place. Even if this one is circular and this one is rectangular, friction will still take place. So let's see whether that one too is part of the option. So this one says, this is another is relatively independent of the area in contact. This one is also correct. So let's see, another law of friction says frictional force is friction opposes motion. Yes, friction opposes motion. If you even check this first one, you see that friction exists only when there is relative motion or tendency for motion. That one too is correct, because if there is no motion, friction cannot take place. Or if there is tendency, as when something starts to, when it is about to move, so friction will still take place. So this one is also correct. So you can see that all the options are correct for friction. So it means we can simply just go for option E, that has all these characteristics. The frictional force has all of these characteristics. So it means option E, answer equal to option E. Thank you. God bless you.